The future of fashion is here, according to the people at Clonex. As you know, Clonex acquired by Nike and have come out with their first real play into the world of fashion with the Forge. We're going to cover this and more all on today's show. So click that subscribe button and let's welcome on Stanley. Stanley, how are you, my friend?
I'm here. I am doing well. I am living the dream. It is Friday. Football is here. College football is here. CloneX is here. Let's go.
Clonex is here in a big way, announcing what they're calling a world's first in the future of fashion. Not surprising that Nike are behind this acquisition, and lots to come in it, lots to unpack, lots to understand in how this could impact fashion and fashion moving forward. We have had G Money on the show in one of our previous episodes, so you should give that a listen as well, driving things in the fashion world. But before we do that, let's go into what is happening in Clonex. Let's start with their video.
Introducing the future of fashion. RTFKT invented the world-merging forging mechanic, allowing its collectors to redeem exclusive physical products from NFTs. Today, RTFKT takes forging to the next level with CloneX Forging. We have developed unique brands and bespoke fashion collections for each CloneX DNA, featuring footwear and apparel. Each brand will be accessible for CloneX holder based on the DNA of the clone they own. Each holder is able to mint up to 2 NFTs wearables items. The physical items will be redeemable during the forging event. The physicals will feature NFC tags connecting the virtual and physical worlds to your drip. Human, robot, angel, demon, reptile, undead, Murakami, alien, as well as the Genesis collection for all CloneX holders. Each clone is able to redeem 1 NFT from the Genesis collection. And the exclusive Murakami drip collection created with Takashi Murakami for all drip trait holders. How does the future work? The merging of digital and physical craftsmanship. Next-gen fashion unlocked by your avatar. The future is now. RTFKT.
Well, there we have it. The future is now RTFKT, and that's what they're dropping. I want to know where they find these futuristic female voices. Like, I felt like I was in the future there with this avatar that's talking to me. Let's unpack what is happening in that. There's a lot to understand in there. Stanley, what are your first impressions?
I mean, first impressions is, I guess, actually, first instinct is fashion, right? I think G Money was on the show talking about hey, the future is fashion. We had Isaac and Blake on the show talking about the metaverse and fashion. It seems like a much more common theme that is happening. We know there's big brands, big luxury brands that are getting into the space, and Nike was the first brand to jump into the space. Adidas followed. And here they are. They are doing something that is innovative. It is different, and it is very interesting. I think the fact that now you're going to mint this forge, and you could go trade it in for a physical, or you could go claim the physical. I think that is smart, right? Because that is how you're going to get more and more people into the space. If I'm a CloneX holder and then I minted the forge, I'm going to be wearing my physical item, hoodie, whatever it might be, and somebody's going to come up to me and say, yo, that's a sick hoodie. Where did you get that? And the answer is going to be complex, right? Because to a crypto native or an NFT native, if I say to they'll probably know, and they'll probably say, oh, that's part of the CloneX collection. But to your neighbor next door who's not in the crypto space, you got to kind of stop.
There's a lot to tell them.
Yeah, you got to stop walking your dog for 10, 15 minutes and really dive deep into, well, I bought this NFT. They got bought out by Nike. Then I had to mint this forge. Now I have this hoodie. And, I think it's innovative and it's creative, but there is a barrier to entry, right? You have to hold this NFT, right? Like your neighbor is not going to be like, wait a minute, I'm going to go buy a Clonex, then go mint this and go buy that. There's a lot of different steps. So as complex as it is, and as a NFT native, I love the concept. I think it is very creative. The question I would have is, does it make it easily accessible to the rest of the world, or is that not part of the plan for Nike?
Well, I'm not sure if it's necessarily part of the plan today. What is happening here is a couple of different things. So if we think about traditional fashion and seasons that needs to come out, and all this new wares that need to happen, and the whole supply chain that needs to happen here, what we're seeing is this movement from direct to avatar. So you have an avatar, that is your identity. And what Nike has done here, or Artifact have done here that's interesting, is the clothing, the wares, the things that you can actually own that link to your avatar are now tied to the DNA of that avatar. So if you have a specific Clonex, you can only get this type of fashion for it. It maybe doesn't suit your fashion in real life. You may want to trade your Clonex to something else because you want to wear something that looks different. So that's quite unique and new in this world of fashion. And we start seeing more of that rolling out into these different collections. That's number one. Number two is I'm now getting free clothing. That's weird for a fashion company. They're giving me clothing for free that I can then choose whether I want to claim, or I want to have a digital version of it, or I want to trade that on the market. Now, I haven't looked at the data on how much that's been traded yet, but does that result in more than what they could probably sell on the secondaries from the royalties that they're generating, more than they would probably generate for selling that sweater? Maybe, maybe not. Let's have a look at the data. But what that's also giving them is a new way to then introduce these lines without having to first go and do mass production of them. They can see what the excitement is around certain brands, certain lines, which ones get traded more than others, which ones get forged more than others, which ones get held, and gives them a lot of information that when they do want to go then to mass appeal, they've got a lot of information about which ones could be successful and effectively cost them close to zero to do that. If not, they're making money out of that whole supply chain. So all of that's really interesting to me. Yes, go ahead.
I have a very interesting business idea. Ready?
Go for it.
I hope somebody doesn't steal it on the show. We're going to create a bargain wearables digital store, like a Marshall's, where the items that are not successful, we're going to be selling
them in.
We'll bring them in, and we're going to flip them. So if somebody wants to take that idea,
we should talk to Isaac from
Century 21.
From Century 21, one of our previous shows, and see if we've got a business there. I like it, Stanley.
I mean, listen, once this thing blows up, you're going to have somebody has to make money. You could buy pennies on the dollars and flip it. I think it's a great idea.
So we are seeing already that happening. Well, not what your idea happening, but we are seeing people trading their claimable merch. We're seeing that the forged items floor price now at 0.03 ETH. So that's about $58 to be able to claim one of these items in ETH terms. And then you're able to claim the physical from there. So that's the big news that happened out of Artifact, out of Clonex. The way that they announced that in traditional style, showing their reach, well, they did something that's a little controversial. They took one of their Clonexes, changed the metadata of it, and made Lebron James the owner of that. Quite a big move, showing the reach that brands like Nike have and the relationships that they have. Taking someone like LeBron and bringing them as an official sports Clonex trait that now is available. Controversial because now they're saying, well, if you can change the metadata of these NFTs and start going retrospectively and retroactively modifying them, then what kind of precedent does that set? Who truly owns anything rare? Why would you spend money on a particular Clonex or any PFP if you don't know what the traits are going to be into the future, and the company that owns them can just change them down the line? So that is the controversy that's come out of it. Stanley, what do you think?
I think it's interesting, right? I think it's an interesting debate because you are bringing star value and star power and saying, hey, all of a sudden now LeBron James is a part of the community, but at the same time, yeah, you're basically, it's not different than influencer marketing, right? But I think, I mean, listen, I think that's kind of brand building and marketing overall, right? Like the goal is, like, if you're building a brand, like your big audacious goal is probably like, I want LeBron James to be, you know, an ambassador for this brand. So obviously with Nike and CloneX, they achieved that. So I think as a CloneX holder, you should be happy about that. But I get the counter argument. But also, I feel like there's not much to talk about in crypto winter, and people will make a big deal about absolutely anything just to start a conversation and get some Twitter followers and Twitter conversations. So there's always going to be people that are not happy. There's always going to be people that are happy. I get the argument. I mean, listen, I think if you ask 100 projects, 99 of them are going to say we want LeBron James to be a part of our team, and if that's what we have to trade for the metadata, then we're going to go ahead and do that.
Well, the market didn't respond positively. We've seen the prices of the floor price of Clonex declining since the Forge opened up. I think it was at a kind of high of 8 ETH floor, sitting at about 6.4 ETH. So not a lot of excitement happening about this, even though some fundamental changes happening in the world of fashion. And I think we're going to start seeing a number of brands following suit in this direct to avatar type of supply chain and mechanic that's happening here.
And one thing I will say, and I mean, not financial advice, do your own research. I think if Clonex can't survive, right, then we're in for a really, really long winter, right? I mean, I think that a company that's is owned by Nike is probably the easiest bet you can make long term, right? Because you got to assume that the people that they have over there, the resources they have, the money they have, the star power they have, they're going to find a way to win. And more importantly, I think they're the ones who can onboard more Web2 people faster than anybody else can, because they have the reach. So not financial advice, but long term, looks good to me.
Well, you heard it here first. Remember to smash that subscribe button, and we will see you next week. We are doing something new. We will be on a Twitter space next week, hosting our first Twitter space live on Monday. What time are we doing it at, Stan?
9:30 in the morning. If you're not following Goats in the Metaverse on Twitter, you are missing out. If you're following, I'll be on, Yasu will be on, Goats in the Metaverse will be on. So make sure you guys check in, and we'll see you guys next weekend. Have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.